But in all seriousness, can I first of all at the outset say thank you, Doctor. Thank you to everyone that's been involved in putting on today and getting it working. I think the conversations I've had, the conversations I've overheard, have been all positive in terms of that start of that work that we need to do, and I'll come to that. There's a number of reflections, there's a number of things I think that we've learned, and some of you may have noticed I've been taking notes all day long because I have this task of trying to draw it together at the end, or some of it together. I think the most disturbing thing I had was when I arrived first thing this morning, when I heard the doctor talking about how this started and was reminiscing about being in bandanas and shorts. And I have to tell you, at 8:30 in the morning, the thoughts of seeing the doctor in shorts was not one that I could really cope with. But thank goodness that he, and indeed colleagues, had that vision and started that process rolling. We know that the opportunities that are there, and some of those statistics that we had in terms of population growth between now and 2050, so what's that, 30 years, is going to be almost half as much again, 46%. We know that almost 3/4 of those people will be living in the urban environment. You and I, and our successors indeed, have a duty to make sure that we are fit and robust to be able to meet those challenges that will face society, wherever that be. Wherever that be, whether it be here in London, whether it be in Paris, or of course whether it be in the Abujas of this world, or wherever across the globe. And many of you are working in some of those areas that will be transformed in those these coming decades. So we know that Adam Global is clearly a platform. It is a platform upon which we can operate, but it does require us to operate. And I think one of the messages that clearly came out in the early introductions was it is a platform, it is a network, the clue is in the title, that it needs to be worked on, but that means that's you and me. We have to do, as the doctor said, the dance. We have to perform. It did make me think that at my age I can only do a dad dance, but hey, you know, as long as you don't hold that against me, I'll dance. So there are genuinely the opportunities there. As Andreas was saying, the trick is being prepared to give. It is not take, take, take. If we do that, it will not work. Absolutely right, and it is a process that we have to go through. And we've seen some of that starting to work today, and with, of course, the signing of the Adam Law Net that Camille talked about having confidence to refer business, and that's what this is about, the network of networks, to be able to have confidence in each other, of being able to work together, to know that you can say to your valued clients, yes, I have someone in wherever it be, I won't pick any particular country, because otherwise I'm accused of being biased, but any country, I know someone there that can actually help to do that, help to deliver that, and you have faith to be able to refer that business. I deliberately refrained from asking any questions of the Baroness, deliberately, because you don't want politics, and rightly so. But of course, when I said, you know, one of the things that we're particularly involved in through my network is about clearly understanding the political framework in which we work, whether that be here or anywhere. I will tell you a story. Very recently, I was having lunch with a newly elected president of a particular African country. And you see, there's something in common for all of us. He was talking to me about having to fly back, and he'd got to go fly back to his sort of annual conference of his party. And he was looking forward to it with absolute glee, just like all elected politicians do, that you know you've got to face the music, you've got to face those questions from your mind. So we have commonality amongst us all. And it just makes us recognise that working with whichever political party, whichever political group you are, the realities of life are what you face when you're in office. And you know, the Baroness is facing that, as she said. She's a reluctant, in a reluctant Brexiteer position now. She didn't vote for it, but that's where we're at. And today, Brexit has pervaded many of our discussions, formal, informal, our thoughts. And I have to tell you, that's exactly what it's doing day in, day out here in Whitehall, in Westminster, on the television, in the newspapers, and of course on social media. And there's a whole range of misinformation that's coming out unbelievably. I mean, it is. And therefore the general public has a real difficulty in knowing what's fact, what's fiction, and where things are at. And it is true what the Baroness was saying, that in terms of both campaigns in the referendum, they were woefully poor campaigns, I think on all sides, but some were more perhaps misleading than others. I was going to ask the question as to the Viscount, whether he agreed that Europe is being seen as a bully boy. I have to say, I don't think that necessarily is the case, but that's not the way it's necessarily seen here. I think many people are actually in this country recognise they made a decision, probably not with the full facts, whether they've changed their minds in enough numbers to make a difference. Don't know. We'll never have a second referendum on whether we should stay or go. That only referendum, as the Viscount was saying, would be on the actual outcome of the negotiations, if we would have one. I suspect it won't happen. But, and in terms of the Viscount, I thought, you know, what we learnt there was he's saying, now in this new world, Britain perhaps should stop strutting around and become an honest broker, which I think is something that resonated with many of us, thinking absolutely right, spot on in terms of what he was saying. And yet, as he was saying, there are so many things to still be sorted out on the international front. ECJ, the cyber issues, I would say as a former transport minister, the whole issue about one of the modes of transport that many of you will be using, which of course is in terms of the air, rules of the air and so on, that have to be resolved. At the very beginning, we talked about Adam Global building competence, sharing experience, strategizing, opportunities, and making friends. I think genuinely that process has undoubtedly been taken further today here in London, which I'm delighted to have been part of. And when I look at the range of countries that are represented, it is quite unbelievable, and it is indeed a credit to Adam Global that we have so many countries represented: Russia, France, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Lebanon, Portugal, the Netherlands, Poland, and I know I've missed some of you out. I've got them all written down. But genuinely, that is a credit to actually the belief that you each individually have in Adam Global. And remember, when we next meet, who knows what the state of play will be? Some people think that we might have a new Prime Minister. I doubt it. But whatever is the case, we will still have the issue of working together, of needing to find the answers and the solutions to the challenges that we face. And who knows, this might well be actually the embassy for Scotland when the Democratic Republic is created up there under our good friend Richard. But remember, at the end of the day, Adding Global will only work if you and I make it work. And that's why we need to support clearly the executive, the doctor, and everyone else in terms of coming forward with ideas, improvements, taking a step forward. So good luck to each and every one of you. I hope that summarises most of the main points. I've no doubt the doctor will add some more. Okay, thank you.
Yes. I will just, I think I'm right enough. I would like to conclude this meeting with a few upcoming scenarios that we have got. We have one upcoming meeting in Shanghai for our Asia and Africa members. This is taking place on the 21st of March 2018, less than a month from now. This meeting is hosted by our Chinese member firm by the name of Highways Law. Afterwards, in July, we have a meeting in Americas for our American members. This will happen on the 23rd of July 2018. And then we have the annual meeting that will be on from the 12th to the 14th of October 2018 in Dubai, UAE. We will share more information on these upcoming meetings with you as we move forward. However, most of the information currently is available on the calendars that we have shared with you all. If you haven't received those, we will send it again after this meeting to all to ensure that you all receive it. I would like to ask for a very short survey on this meeting. I'm sure majority of you have got your handheld devices. I am going to display this on the screen. It won't take more than 5 minutes, and would really appreciate if you can spend some time now, give us your feedback on how the meeting was, and what else would you like us to feature in the upcoming meetings. Is it readable, or shall I increase the size? Right, perhaps, or I'll just increase it.
That's fine, we create it.
Right. So the Wi-Fi available here is called the Caledonian Club, and the password is Caledonian with C capital. And if you can just go onto your browsers and just punch this address, it will take you to a short survey. It's hardly 4 questions, and if you have time, please you can. I would like to thank you all for being here at the Adding Global's regional meeting. We have a small gift box for all of you to take along. And I would just like to wish everyone happy networking and cold weather in London. So thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. Well, sorry, actually all gentlemen. Thank you once again. We will share all of the photographs, all of the video with you in a about a week's time, perhaps, over the email. So thank you all once again.
Thank you. Can I please propose a vote of thanks, because a lot of hard work. I know I've taken all the bars and I've taken all the credit, but actually credit is not due to me. The credit is due to Mohsin. Mohsin has worked extremely hard. For the last 3 months, he has worked day and night. He has designed all the gifts that you've seen. He's designed the program. He was building the agenda, and my role was only just to say, good boy, you're doing a great job. So continue. So can I please ask you all to put your hands together and a big hand. Well done, son. Give me a big hug. Well done. You did well. You did well. Excellent.
And I, on the other hand, would actually want to thank my team who actually was here with me. I've got Ahmed Rosli. I would like to thank who's been here. We've got a few players that you were not able to see this time around, but Jessica, as most of you would know, she's our marketing head. She's actually done fairly well. We have Anna Palma, who's the member service manager, who has helped me out and doing all of this. And I think so most of you already know Paul Naval as well. He's actually sending you a lot emails here and there as well. So it wouldn't have been possible without them, and I would like to thank them all. So thank you very much.
Gentlemen, feel free to stay or have more networking. It's a paid bar downstairs. If you want to use the bar, please, it is paid bar. There is a limit of how many people can go in there, so please just not everyone go all at once. But we have about 200 Scottish whiskies down there, so I'm sure that you will enjoy them. So, good luck, and I'll see you, some of you, in the bar downstairs. Thank you.